few times, he'd land a few good shots. Rockhold did a good job of escaping the fence,
yes.
but as Jimmy Smith was saying, he was allowing the fight to happen at boxing range. Yeah. As we said throughout the pre-fight show, he's tall, he's got the kicks. He was too close. He allowed Romero to get in, land that shot, put him down, and as I say, a beautiful uppercut to finish.
Definitely. Yeah, well, it was interesting. As we were going into the third, basically here in the studio, we saw it as 1-1. Luke taking the first one. Yoel wasn't really very active in the first. Second round, he started to put it on a little bit more. But, Mike, you know, it did seem that Luke was finding his rhythm. He was starting to really, you know, get some movement in there. But what do you think he did wrong?
What did he do wrong? I mean, I don't so much think he did anything wrong. Yeah. Just Romero did something right.
Okay.
You know, he pressured him up against the... I mean, Rockhold was fighting a smart fight. The pair of them were, to be honest. Romero was taking his time. He knows he has a problem in the later rounds, so he was conserving his energy. In the first round, he didn't do much. But as I say, he didn't do much, but he didn't take a lot of damage. You know, Rockhold didn't really capitalize on it. You know, it was a close fight. Round one, Rockhold, as we said. Yep. Round two was Romero. Round three, you know, Rockhold was edging it, but it doesn't matter. What one... Was it a left... A right hook?
No, it was left, and then he followed it up with another.
Oh, those left hooks. Who else knocked him out with the left hook?
Oh, my goodness.
Come on.
Moving right along. You know, I thought
you were praising Luke's boxing.
No, I thought Luke had a perfect strategy. I thought he was doing a great job utilizing that jab. We haven't seen Luke throw a lot of jabs like that in a very long time. He was sniping him with the leg kicks, trying to slow down Yoel Romero. And when Yoel charged, as Mike said, he retreated very properly, and he was using angles. In the beginning, the first round, when he threw his combination, he would angle off to the right, taking himself out of harm's way. Then he started to get comfortable. You cannot let Yoel Romero relax. We've known him to relax and then explode in your face with a knee, overhand, uppercut, whatever the case may be. He got a little bit complacent in the exchange, and that's what happened. He got caught sleeping, and he didn't even do anything technically wrong. That left hand came with no notice, and it lit him up.
When somebody like Romero advances on you like that, super aggressive, you can't go back in a straight line. Of course, you've got to start going back to get out of the way, but then you've got to cut off to an angle. Never go back more than 2 steps is what an old coach used to tell me. Back 2 steps, then cut off to the angle. He went straight back, up against the fence. Romero came over the top. Romero was landing some good leg kicks as well in the second round. He was doing well. As I say, it was a very measured, patient... It was a mature fight, you know, they weren't swinging recklessly. You could see the size difference, obviously. Yeah.
And when he retreats back,
well done.
If Luke is retreating back, you know that Yoel is not throwing straight punches. He's throwing overhands and hooks. So as he's retreating back, he should be throwing straight left hand, and maybe that right hook is going to angle him off. And those are the 2 steps he should be taking back. But you can't just cover up on Yoel because you don't know if he's going to go to the body, if he's going to go up top. And when you cover, that still allows him to get behind your hands and clip the side of your chin.
Exactly, because Romero, with all the power that he has, he swings like crazy. He's not a skilled boxer, but he can punch. He's very, very effective, and he can knock people out, as we've seen time and time again. So you can cover up like this, but if the punches are coming at crazy angles, it's almost impossible to block them all. And, of course, as we saw, one got through.
Yeah, well, originally in the first round, Yoel Romero was kind of throwing some haymakers, some big overhands that were nowhere near landing. But obviously, when it comes to the knockout, he did get it done. And if you look at this graphic here, we got a graphic of the most knockouts in the middleweight division in history. Thiago Santos there at 8. He got one last weekend in Belém. You see Anderson Silva also with 8. Yoel Romero now 7, tied with Michael Bisping. Good old Chris Leben.
Chris Leben.
Yeah.
Bringing up the rear.
Chris Leben.
Nice. Shout out to the crippler.
Yes, absolutely. And his red hair. Always loved that. T-Wood, so when we're talking about this knockout, what was that opening moment? What did Luke give him to the opportunity for him to go in there and pounce and get that knockout?
You only need a few inches to land that punch. You don't need hands all the way down. You don't need a wide open. And what he did was he relaxed. He took his time. And a lot of times you see Yoel, when he swings, he's not eyeing his target. He's not looking at what he wants to punch. On that particular punch, if you look at the replay, he is looking at the chin, and he doesn't show it by opening his body up. He relaxes, and with the whipping effect, he gets to the chin real quick, and that's all it takes, to get on the button, to get on the chin, without the opponent notice that the punch is coming.
Rockhold was using some nice teeps, some nice front kicks to the midsection. I would have liked to have seen him bring him up to the chin now and again. But predominantly, he was using his boxing. There were some nice jabs. He went for a triple jab on a few occasions, some nice left hand straight down the pipe. But because he was using the boxing, that's what allowed Romero to get in and connect with that shot. If he was all the way out to a distance where Romero couldn't get him, he would still be able to kick him. So in hindsight, that's what he should have done.
So here's the thing. Because it is a pay-per-view, there are certain rules that we must adhere to. And concerning highlights and footage, we definitely will get that to you if you just hang tight with us. Otherwise, maybe I can ask these two to act it out. But
I've got no problem knocking out Tyron.
Oh my
God, acting out.
Michael,
he's
Michael,
an actor, so that's why she said acting out.
Michael, I seem to remember at one point here at the desk, you very famously reminded me that one should not keep his head high in a fight.
Yes, well, no, that's it.
Luke's head was a little high.
Even Jimmy Smith commented on it in the commentary. You got to tuck that chin. I mean, I spoke about it, I think, yesterday. Even in some of his workouts, he does this thing with a weight, and he pulls the cable and he does this with his chin in the air. It's really exposed. Of course, I capitalized on that, and tonight he paid the price once again. You've got to tuck that chin. The problem is, because he's so tall, it's a problem that a lot of tall fighters have. Just the dynamics of his build.
It's also when people are swinging at you, you have a tendency to kind of lift up this way, and that's a bad move. Sometimes my boxing coach tells me, look like you're reading out the top of some reading glasses. So when you punch in, keep your chin down, especially when you're coming forward. You're throwing that jab, tuck your chin down, so that way you're not getting hit with punches that you don't see. And then when you're going back, it's even more important at that point, because if you're going back, sometimes people see that as a retreat, and they're coming with the offense.
Luke was doing a great job. I mean, he was winning the fight, in my opinion. And if you compare Romero's fight to the fight that Robert Whittaker had, he was doing a lot better job than Robert Whittaker. No disrespect to Robert, that's not what I'm trying to do here. What I'm trying to say is that he was doing a fantastic job. What he needs to do to improve, he needs to go away and do the old school, the tennis ball underneath the chin. He needs to drill, because he's got to tuck that chin. That's what cost him the price tonight.
Yeah. All right, guys, we got more from our graphics department. They've been very active back here talking about the middleweight division. We are setting some records here, so most wins in UFC middleweight division since 2013. Yoel Romero now tying Thiago Marreta Santos with 9. I believe they just gave Santos another matchup recently, so he's going to be active again. What is it about Yoel? I know we talk about the explosion, but as we said, initially he wasn't really getting his timing there. It's hard to land on Luke with that reach. But what was it that Yoel was able to adjust to finally be able to get that?
It wasn't that he wasn't able to get his timing. He was patient. You can't rush with Luke Rockhold. You know, he has too many dangerous weapons that he can hit you with. He can hit you with a body kick. He was landing so many leg kicks, and for the first time in a long time, we've seen him utilize a very effective jab. So I don't think he wasn't able to get in. He was patient. He tried to blitz for it a couple times. That wasn't very effective. He was swinging and coming up with a lot of air. Luke Rockhold was attentive to his attack. But what he did was he waited. He waited till he got Luke Rockhold's back against the octagon, and that's when he teed off on that punch, and it was a wise move.
To be fair, though, Romero did do a good job of exploding. Sorry you talk about explosion all the time with Romero, but he did explode a few times in the second round. Remember, of course, it was the third round, it was a left hook, and then he uppercutted him. But in the second round, there was a few instances where it was close again. He exploded, he pushed him up against the fence, and he landed with a few shots. So it wasn't a case of that was a lucky shot. That was his game plan. That's what he was trying to do. So well executed.
Mike, did you see anything here?